Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. We are finally digging into the Ultimates #1. It's finally here. It is everything that I wanted out of the first issue. Also, if you have not seen the video that comes before this one, where we covered all the previews and one-shots that Marvel published for the Ultimates, go ahead and check it out here. You don't absolutely need to know everything that happens in it, but it does take place after those one-shots. But yeah, without any further ado, let's just get into it. So this opens up with the destruction caused by the Stain Stark satellite. We hear someone saying, "What a mess," before jumping straight into the Ultimates after we saw them in the Ultimate Universe one-shot, and Tony says, "Don't worry, we can fix it." To which Doom actually says, "I was referring to us, Iron Lad, we are a mess." And Tony replies, "I know, it doesn't look good, but we have a time machine." And then we get a look at the Stain Stark corporate spy satellite that they apparently escaped into the future inside of. So this is an off-the-books invention that allowed them to get 6 months into the future in the first place. So it's at this point that they start putting their heads together and they start plotting, seeing what they can control, and they come up with the idea of a superhero resistance network called the Ultimates 1.0, based off of all the catalysts like the Spider for Spider-Man and the files that we stole from the Maker, all connected by Stark Tech and Common Cause. We just get everything together, ship it out, everyone can become heroes, and then we recruit them into our team to fight back against the Maker and the Secret Council. We'll be small at first, but growing exponentially as we add new people. And then in the craziest twist of events, something that I did not expect to happen, they actually look at Earth 616, which was apparently part of the Catalyst files that they stole from the Maker, and they're basically gonna base this off of a different reality to try and make this universe as heroic as that one. Doom says, "You propose we recreate this other world here?" And Tony says, "I propose we put right what the Maker put wrong to help this world become the world that it was supposed to be, a world of heroes." And Doom says, "This world is not that one. Realities diverge. The Maker has purged himself of mercy. The people in these files are likely dead," which we obviously know they're not, but the logic is there. And Tony says, "Then we'll find replacements. With the population data and computing power at our disposal, we can find near perfect substitutes. Where history fails, we'll let science choose." And it's at this point that they come up with the idea of making origin machines. And these are basically going to be little boxes that contain the catalysts, again like the spider that bit Spider-Man. They're going to put them in these boxes, ship them 6 months into the past, exactly like we saw in Ultimate Spider-Man, and then they'll see the world actively change around them. Doom says, "Trapped inside his city, the Maker has thousands of years to prepare. Remember, time works differently within the city. So while they have 18 months to prepare, the Maker has countless years." We then get some narration from Iron Man saying, "While Doom did the math on the calculations on how to send everything back in time, I designed super identities and calculated the possibility of heroism as a function of location, age, psychological history, past trauma, and 244 other unique variables." And we see him designing Spider-Man's suit. "In between heroes, I cracked the Captain America problem," and we see him bust out of the ice. 75 years had passed, but for him, it was an instant. Time travel. He says, 2024? Who's the president? Tony then breaks the news to him that the United States broke up in 1969. They continue to work on the designs, they continue to work on the calculations until the final products are ready. "It won't work," Captain America says. "You can't start a revolution from your living room. Revolutions start on the ground, and heroes don't come out of boxes. It won't work." And eventually they put it to the test, send it back in time, and then nothing happens. They just disappear. Through some of the monitors in the lab, they're actually able to check in on the news stations before getting some more narration from Tony saying, "I opened a window ready to look out onto the world overflowing with heroes." And then they look up at the monitors and Tony says, "It looks," and Doom finishes the sentence, "the same." And then we look on these monitors and we see Spider-Man worked out as we know, and then we see Captain Marvel suited up. She has her powers, but she unintentionally causes this explosion that kills everybody around her. And in the last monitor, we see Hawkeye doing the whole Spider-Man no more thing, walking away from his Hawkeye costume in the trash, before Tony says, "It looks like only 1 or 2 took. The rest all rejected or intercepted or deceased. And also a lot of accidental suicides by superpower." And Tony's like, "Okay, I admit it, I have not conquered time." And Steve comes in and says, "Until you've got a better handle on it, maybe we stick to time traveling the old-fashioned way, 1 second at a time." We then jump back down to Earth, where we see Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne working as exterminators. They head down into the storage room to see what the problem is, and Janet asks, "Everything okay, Hank?" And he says, "Hmm?" She's like, "You've been kind of distant lately. For months, actually. Is it Are you having the dreams again? He says, God, I'm such a mess, Jan. Sometimes I think you'd be better off without me. And she's like, we've talked about this, Hank. I love you. I love our life together. And everyone's a mess. The world's a mess. Come on. I think I heard something coming from over here. And Hank says, but do you ever wish things were different? She answers, I think there's more to life than squashing bugs, if that's what you mean. I'd like to try bringing life into the world one day. He's like, kids? Sure, what could be better than that? Imagine our own little family. And then we see what the exterminator called about, and it's a family of Malloids, I think that's how it's pronounced, who have apparently been stealing food from this restaurant, and that's enough for Janet and Hank to actually refuse the job because they're not going to displace these creatures. They then drive off and continue their conversation, Janet saying, the world's always been screwed up, and we'd be great parents. And Hank says, you'd be great. Me? I don't know. She's like, you should trust yourself more, Hank. You've overcome a lot, and you're a good man. I don't know where all this doubt is coming from lately. He's like, it's the dreams. Like you said before, I'll be better after a good night's sleep. She says, you know, I had a weird dream the other night myself. I was in our apartment, but everything was the wrong size. Our drawers were as big as the Grand Canyon, and our bed could fit in the palm of my hand. What do you think that's about? And someone off panel says, Henry Pym and Janet Van Dyne. The van screeches to a halt, and we see Iron Man in the sky showing himself, saying, we need to talk. They pause for a moment before tearing down the road. Janet looking back saying, was that Howard Stark? I thought he was dead. Wait, how did he know our names? Hank? And Hank's over there silent saying, you know I'd never hurt you no matter what, don't you, Janet? She's like, what? Where's this coming from? You're Hank Pym, you wouldn't hurt a fly. You know what I mean. And then Thor launches his hammer straight into the van before one of the Origin machines launches out of the back of the truck that Hank had hidden, and Tony Stark's hologram starts playing. He's like, oh God, I'm sorry, Janet. I love you so much. I'm so sorry. And Tony off panel says, it's us who should apologize. And then we see the whole lineup of the Ultimates standing before them saying, I'm sorry about the van. We're still figuring everything out. Janet then hops out the van. Hey, you're Tony Stark. You killed thousands of people. And he's like, I hope you're not one of those people who believes everything you're told, Mrs. Van Dyne. Look, I don't have to tell you the world is broken. I can see it on your faces, in the sad slump of your shoulders. Well, we're going to fix it, and we need your help. Steve continues for him. It's been 6 months, and you haven't accepted our offer. I don't blame you. You must have thought you'd be alone, which is why we've come in person. We wanted to tell you. Janet's like, 6 months? What's he talking about, Hank? Steve says, you won't be alone. We'd be here to help you. You'd be part of something. Janet's still asking questions. I don't understand. Part of what? And Tony says, the solution. We're calling it. And then they get cut off by Captain Britain himself and his army called the Black Crusade, as well as a couple of giants to accompany them. So Captain Britain, already kind of the big bad of North America, is coming to fight them face to face, wasting no time getting into it. And immediately, jumping into it, first issue, the battle starts. Tony screaming, Ultimates! Attack! This leaves Hank and Janet to continue talking about their destinies. Hank says, Janet, I'm sorry. I didn't want to lose, and she cuts him off, saying, you don't have to explain, Hank. I understand. I know you're scared. I'm scared too, but how many nights did we stay up terrified watching the news and feeling helpless? How many mornings did we have to drag ourselves out of bed? I'm tired of being afraid. I love you no matter what choice you make, but this is mine. And she embraces her destiny, suits up as the Wasp for the very first time, and takes off, flying, saying, okay, let's see what this, before getting shot out of the sky by one of the Black Crusade, falling straight to the ground, shrinking down, saying, that was amazing! And she flies off again, with Hank left behind, saying, I don't deserve her. Steve absolutely smashes this guy's face in with a shield, saying, she doesn't seem to agree. Hank says, she doesn't know. She hasn't read them. I read them. The files about who we were supposed to be. I read everything. She's supposed to be a superhero. She's supposed to make the world a better place. But me? Even in that reality, I'm a mess. A failure. Hero, villain, good, bad, or mad. I can't seem to make up my mind. I'm dangerous. We then get little glimpses of Captain Britain and Iron Lad going at it, reuniting to fight once again with such hatred. Captain Britain hanging on for dear life to stay in control. Iron Lad hanging on for dear life to take him out before blasting him with a chest beam. And then we cut back to Hank as he continues, the things it says I did. It says I hurt people. It says I hurt her. Sure, I'm afraid of dying, but I'm most afraid that if I become what you want me to be, what I'm supposed to be, I'll hurt the people I love most. And Steve, still fighting, says, I don't have an answer for you, Henry. Certainly no guarantees. I can only say to you that that man is not you. His failures are not your failures. His sins are not yours. There are times that call for us to be bigger than ourselves. You could have gotten rid of that thing anytime, buried it, thrown it into the river, not given it away, but you've been driving around with it for 6 months. I'm no genius, but it seems to me that that means something. We then see Iron Lad defeated, smushed into the ground, with Captain Britain boasting over him saying, "Stupid peasant, who are you to oppose us? I trace my lineage back to the Sun King himself. I was born to rule this world, my empire. All of Europe is my playground, your East Coast my new toy. I have crushed the soul of a people beneath my boot. Who are you next to that?" He steps on his throat. "We are the Ultimates. There are more of us than there are of you. We have boots too, and ours are much bigger." Before Ant-Man himself, embracing his destiny, suiting up as the hero he was always meant to be, leaving a boot mark in the ground, with the little Ultimates U and dead bodies of giants left inside it. He then looks at Janet and says, "And you said there's more to life than squashing bugs. It's a good first step," Captain America says. "Even if Britain survived," Lady Sif chimes in. "It's a statement," Iron Lad says. "One that they can't ignore. A statement you can see from space," the Wasp says. And Iron Lad says, "I think it says, the Ultimates are here, and we're gonna leave a mark." So what an amazing way to kick off the series. Great first issue in my opinion. We should be seeing a crossover with Spider-Man very, very soon. As you can see at the bottom of the page here, it says 17 months to go until the Maker comes back, his city is opened back up, and everything that they are working for and preparing for will be put to the test. Exactly the same way that Ultimate Spider-Man has been counting down to June. The creative team for this did an amazing job, just as cinematic as I hoped it would be. This universe is being put together, all the pieces are being put in place by the Ultimates, and I'm very, very excited to see where this version of the Avengers ends up going, and how their fight against the Secret Council goes, and how it escalates beyond this point. But that's just me. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. That is the video. Thank you for watching.